Hi folks, I just wanted to make a quick update video on my iPad app that I've been working on. I'll be posting a couple of updated features on the App Store very shortly, and I figured now would be a good time to just run through the app from start to finish, show you how I get it set up, how to use it for your compositions in ways that I hope will be really useful for other composers in the digital audio workstation. So just as a quick explainer, Cocomposer is an iPad app that allows you to control MIDI in your digital audio workstation. It provides MIDI CC faders and articulation key switches for composing with sample libraries, and it also has a modulation assistant that helps you pivot from one chord or key to another. So the first time you run Cocomposer, it'll hit you with a tutorial, but we'll skip that for now and just go through the features one by one. To get it set up, you're going to want to head to Audio MIDI Setup. Command 2 will open the MIDI Studio, and then head to Network MIDI just here, create a new session, tick it, and the iPad will show up if it's connected to the same network as your Mac. Connect to it, and once it's in participants, you can test one of the faders and you'll see the MIDI data coming in. Now, depending on your workflow, I think the app works best if you have articulation sets set up with whichever digital audio workstation you're using, which means you're able to choose the articulation on a per note basis in your piano roll without worrying about going back to MIDI key switch trigger notes and having to play them first. But if that's the way you prefer to work, the app can totally cater for that as well. So the faders panel on the left hand side by default has 2 faders, but you can configure it with up to 6. These control MIDI CC, and they can be configured for whichever control change is desired on whichever channel 1 to 16. Hit unlock to head into edit mode, and you can add or remove faders. These are pre-configured for the CC values of the most common control change requirements of most sample libraries, things like vibrato, expression, dynamics, but you can change them to whatever you need for your use case. Use a single digit on each fader to control it normally, or if you need a pitch bend, you can use 2 digits and the fader will temporarily convert to a pitch bend. If you want to only see the faders and use the app side by side with another app, such as Logic Remote, you can resize the app and you'll see just the faders however large you want them. And as of version 1.2, if you have an iPhone, you can run Cocomposer on the iPhone and just see the faders there in exactly the same way you would in the iPad app. It's just a case of also connecting this in Audio MIDI setup in just the same way, choosing iPhone. Also in version 1.2, you're able to choose aftertouch rather than control change on any of the faders you wish across all 16 channels in exactly the same way. In the articulations panel, by default, you'll see 5 stacks or sections for the main 4 orchestral families and a miscellaneous one or other. Articulation key switches are added to banks that all sit inside one of these stacks. To add a bank of articulation key switches, unlock the panel and you can create a new custom bank with the plus button. Choose a button design from the default articulation designs, choose your note, your channel, and rename it if you wish. While in edit mode, press and hold the button to reorder it within the bank, and you can head over to the next page of articulations at any point and start building from there too. When the bank is finished, head into Edit Bank to set or change its name, assign a visual color to help find it, or set your navigation and focus MIDI events, but a bit more on that later. Or you can import a bank from a number of different templates for different sample libraries by choosing a library, choosing a patch, choosing the desired channel, and hitting import. Head to Edit Bank, where you can change the MIDI channel for the whole set, or change the criteria on a button-by-button basis if you want to customize it. You can add extra buttons to the templates as well, so for instance, the newer version of this library got rid of the legato patch, so in Contact I like to make a multi-instrument instance where I have the legato and core patches in a single instance, hooking one up on channel 1, the second on channel 2, which can be configured in the app by adding from the newer library. As you can see, no legato. Adding a legato on my desired key switch and moving it over to the configuration that I'm more used to. And now you'll see they align nicely with what I have going on in Contact. So it just adds a nice visual, easy to reach means of switching out your articulations on the fly while you're in that flow state, while you're composing, while you're playing, without having to go into articulation menus or highlight MIDI notes in the piano roll and choosing the articulation sets in another menu. It just has a little bit more immediacy, so there's less of an interruption. Now, a lot of sample libraries will have different articulation sets for the different instruments within a single library, but with large orchestral templates, we could really quickly run out of space on our iPad screen. So with that in mind, we're easily able to group articulation banks that are in a shared library or however you decide to group them. For instance, if we add every patch from this library, it pretty quickly starts eating up quite a bit of space. So while in edit mode, just tap on select, tick each bank that you want to be in the same group. You'll see at the bottom that it's counting up how many we're grouping, and finally hit group, and it collapses it down into one nice neat bank line. You can expand and collapse the group with the button on the right hand side, and you'll see the lines indicate that they are linked together. Just like before, we can head to edit bank, and this time it's edit group, and we can call this the name of our library. The instrument that it's currently on will be shown on the left hand side just like before, even for multi-page banks like this. If you need to ungroup them at any time, you can just do this in edit group for ungrouping all the banks, or edit bank on an individual one will allow you to ungroup just that one. Your articulation workspace is saved automatically to your iCloud data, but you can manually export a workspace file to re-import it either between iCloud accounts or in case I destroy some kind of backwards compatibility by accident in future. You never know. So to do that, just head back into edit mode and use the blue export button at the bottom, and save your workspace.json file to be re-imported later with the green import button. Now, I've quickly learned that the very custom configurations of your banks are potentially configurations that you don't want to lose anytime soon. So in edit bank or edit group, you can head down and save this to your templates. Then when you're importing from templates in future, just head to user templates, and that'll be timestamped and viewable info before importing it back to your workspace. Just like the workspace itself, your user templates are saved to iCloud. They can be imported en masse or deleted in batch, or use the import and export buttons in the bottom left to do the same to save your full list of user templates to a .json file, which can be re-imported later. So you can use the app to navigate your digital audio workstation session, and you can use data from your session to focus on specific banks within your articulation workspace. So I have my fully configured workspace here, which aligns perfectly with my main orchestral template in my digital audio workstation. And in Logic, at least, you can use control surfaces that accept incoming MIDI data to traverse to a particular track within your session. Now, I've never really been able to do this without kind of piggybacking off an existing established control surface, as this is the only means where you can choose a MIDI value to do the select parameter on a fader bank. And you only get 8 by default, but you can quite easily paste new ones. So in edit bank, you can head to your navigation parameter, and you can set this to whatever you want to send out to your digital audio workstation to navigate to that track. Hit learn mode and play the value, and it will see that incoming as program change 0 on channel 2. We won't use this one because you need to use one of the control surfaces defaults, but you can use this for its value, and we can assign this to the first one we want. Refresh the tracks, and we can pin it to that track so it will realign with it even if you delete or add tracks from your session. Let's just use this one for the next one and bump it up one. Refresh the tracks and pin it to this one. Set the same events in the app as you do in your digital audio workstation, and then when you're out of edit mode, you can tap on the bank header where the name of the library and the name of the template lives. Now, no matter where you are in your session, if you know that the bank under your finger in the app is where you want to interact with next, just tap and it'll take you straight through to that track in your session. Now, focus is a little different, so it's using signals from your audio workstation to tell the app where the app should be pointing rather than the other way around. Unfortunately, Logic Pro doesn't have a native functionality to output MIDI based on your track selection, so I've kind of been working on my own solution for this, where a track selection in Logic Pro will output a pre-decided MIDI program change signal. I'll be looking to circulate this probably on my website just in case it's useful for anyone else, but I think other audio workstations can be configured more easily to be able to do that. So basically it picks up on your track clicks in Logic, and it allows you to learn these and allows you to assign note or program change information that it outputs to the session. In auto mode, it will just give you a randomized program change each time. And while you're in edit bank in the Cocomposer app, under focus, you can tap learn and it will learn the value that's been sent to it. Now, when you click through your session, you'll see in Cocomposer that every track relevant to that articulation bank will be highlighted briefly and scrolled to if necessary. Building upon that, if it's still a little busy and you want a really simplified view of specifically what you're on in your digital audio workstation, in edit mode, just tap the little F Forte button for focus and it will show you just the bank that you're currently on in a slightly larger display, a little bit less cluttered, much more immediate, so you know exactly what you're doing. Or just keep to the normal articulation bank view if you want a larger overview of what's going on template-wide. So that's just a quick update on Cocomposer. Anyone who is already using it, as I know quite a few people have downloaded it from here already, any feedback on bugs or improvement ideas or any desired features that you might have are obviously hugely welcomed. So if you think it would be useful for your workflow and you haven't already, please go grab a copy from the App Store. It's still compatible back to iOS 16, so most people should be covered with whatever iPad they're lying around that they could maybe get some more use out of for their composition workflow. So as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you find it as useful as I have. Big love and happy composing. I'll catch you in the next one.